Yo, still biz, what's the deal, man? I'm starting off this Monday morning, heading to the plantation, man. Like, you know, man, it's getting monotonous. 2 day work, 2 day off days, 5 day work weeks, man. This shit is getting monotonous, Brody. We need to make like Switzerland, and it need to be 4 day work weeks and 3 day rest periods, man. It's the hardest thing in the world trying to recuperate off of a 5 day work week, 5 day work week with 2 days of resting, it's with in a lot of people's cases, 1 day rest period over a 6 day work week. You dig? Like that shit is just I don't know, man. Capitalism just don't give a fuck about the common market, man. But peep game, we got to get into this shit, man. And that is we got to talk Fred barbershop conversation, Hawthorne, man. I think people really need to take into consideration what he's saying. I think they do. But I do understand the contingency who's like, man, I ain't fucking with Fred. They mad they snatched his credentials away from him, so he beefing and this and that and the third. And yeah, I get it. I get it. But there's two sides to every coin. And two things can be true at once. Sometimes you dig a motherfucker can be a little aggy that you snatched away their credentials, you stop fucking with them for whatever reason. And it's like the Omarosa thing when she got kicked out of the White House. She didn't give a fuck about being in there as long as she was getting benefits in there. She was getting credentials to all of the the debates and everything, and anywhere where it was happening that where Trump was going to be involved in or going to be at. She didn't have an issue with. She didn't find anything problematic with Donald Trump as long as she was allowed into the press conferences and all that. But the minute she got that shit snatched away from her, now you want to write a tell-all book about Trump saying, nigga, the word nigga flying out of Trump's mouth on a regular basis, which we've been on that. It's common knowledge, shorty. So yeah, we've been knowing that. That's neither here nor there. We've been had our issues with Trump. So is there truth in what it is that she's saying? Absolutely it is. Absolutely it is. But look at where it's coming from. You're mad that you're no longer allowed into the White House. You got booted out of the White House and all of his spaces. Now you want to do a tell-all book. It can be the same thing with Fred Hawthorne. It could be that same exact thing. He's mad that he got his credentials revoked. So as long as you was being allowed into these spaces, you was all right with keeping you dig the fuckery under wraps. You was cool with that. You was okay with that. And for whatever reason, whatever happened. Now all of a sudden you beefing. Two things can be very much so true at once. So it is what it is, man. But I do think people should take into consideration what he's saying. I definitely do. I'm still not a nigga who just goes to, run to his channel just to hear him, you know what I'm saying, talk greasy about the PBC. Cause I don't too much do that, man. Once I formulate my own ideologies, I don't take into consideration everybody else's viewpoints on it. Even he said that. Even he said that. Because once you do that, you have to consider that same viewpoint when they oppose your viewpoint. And so I tend to stay away from that shit, man. I don't like how the PPC moves. That's just what that is. But I'm not about to use him as a crux to talk about how I don't like how they move. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. But I do think people need to take into consideration what he's saying and go listen to what he's saying. Because a lot of the shit that he's saying is kind of like it's the writing on the wall. And it's coming from it's coming from a source of the no. You dig what I'm saying? It's coming from a place of knowing, of understanding. Why? Because he was around. He was around. I understand anybody's argument who's saying, man, I ain't fucking with Fred. That nigga's a goof. He this and that and the third. He's just in his feelings or whatever. I get it, man. But just him listening to him, berate the Charlos, and I'm not like I said, I've never been favorable of the Charlos, but just the shit he was saying about them, I'm like, God damn. Outside of him talking greasy about him. They calling him classless and all that. The shit he was saying about, Canelo and Bud coming over there to, clean shit up over there. I was like, yo, that shit, damn, big, damn. That's how you feeling? Because he took it outside the context of I don't like your behavior. Even though he was very boisterous about him not liking their behavior, he took it a step further and was letting them know, look, this is the plan right here. They're not investing in y'all. They see no future in y'all. The minute y'all lose, y'all will be discarded. Like he was on some type of time like that. I'm like, God damn. God damn. He's talking about fighters becoming annual fighters, you dig? And as Deontay Wilder hasn't even fought this year. We was talking about Andy Ruiz. We was talking about that matchup, but we in the 8th month of the year. For him to fight Andy Ruiz, squeeze a fight in before the Anthony Joshua fight, he'd have to fight. He'd have to announce a fight. He'd have to announce a fight here within the next week or so, because it's already going to be the 12th of August on Saturday. He'd have to, announce a fight in the next week and change, fight mid-September, and that's saying that he wins the fight, and then come back to fight in December. And we don't even know if he's had a training camp for that. It's like, yo, you dig? But the point is, he's talking about inactivity. All of these fighters who fought, all of these flagship fighters who are, pushing the PBC, they've only fought one outside of Tank. They've only fought once this year. Earl fought once. Wilder hasn't even fought. Jermell hasn't fought in 2 years. Jermell hasn't fought in 1 year. Jamal hasn't fought in 2. Tank has fought twice. Man. But he's just going down to Frank Martin once. Gary Russell Jr. has not fought this year at all. He's just going down the list of inactive fighters, man. I'm like, yo, y'all really need to take heed to that. Because that right there is a career killer. That right there is a reason why a lot of these fighters end up looking the way that they look. Josh Taylor is a prime example of that, man. I was wrong. I thought Josh Taylor had more than enough to be able to deal with Teofimo and how inept he looked at 140 pounds. I thought I was wrong. I was wrong as 2 left feet. His ass should have been in there fighting. But, it was health. It was a health, it was due to his health. So it is what it is. But people need to take that into consideration and like, hey, yo, man, let's get these fighters fighting. My coach was talking about that, becoming gym fighters. Motherfuckers fight in the gym, and it doesn't translate to, you know what I'm saying, when there's a crowd in front of you. That's where the pressure really comes in at. Where it's not just people in your gym. Why now, what's happening, what normally happens in the gym is happening in an environment to where it's, everybody is allowed to watch that. You dig? Fighters overtraining, fighters getting injured in training because they're just overtraining. You dig? Eventually, you put what it is that you learn to the test. You see how your hard work plays out in the moment, and you get a rest period. These dudes is just in the gym training. They're overtraining. It's like, God damn. So I think what he's saying has validity. I definitely do. Nobody's gonna, the PBC, the sycophants aren't gonna sit there. They're not gonna beat the drum. They're gonna disregard everything that he's saying. Because they feel like, yo, he's a woman scorned. He has bitter baby mama syndrome, which is understandable. I get it. But man, y'all have to consider it. There's no way around it. Man. Listen to what the man is saying. It's logical. It makes sense. It makes all the sense in the world. The dudes are not fighting over there. They're not fighting consistently. David Benavidez fought once last year. There's rumors of him fighting Demetrius Andre, but there's no, rumors are rumors. Rumors are rumors, man. It's always a rumor. A fight is always on the rumor mill. We're hearing rumors about Chris Colbert fighting Tank, even though Isaac Cruz is the more likely candidate to get that Tank fight. So rumors are rumors, it is what it is. But I don't know, man. Just with homeboy, the game that homeboy was kicking was was potent, and he was even talking about Bob Arum is keeping his fighters active. You know what? Anthony Joshua, for him to talk about Anthony Joshua like that, for him to say, yo, Joshua has 3 fights lined up within a calendar year. That's something because he's Wilder is his bro. So for him to highlight that, it's like, yo, man, y'all don't have a choice but to take this shit into consideration because that's true. That's tried and true. That's tried and true. The dude, I mean, them dudes is not fighting often, man. Oh, bet parking spots. Them niggas is not fighting often, and I think that's something that needs to be addressed and talked about, which it has been talked about, but talked about by the people who are supportive of that flagship. Because if you're supportive of that flagship, that means you're supportive of the fighters over there, and they're not fighting. And I like also how he hit on y'all think that this man is a savior amongst black society, and that's just not the case. Like he hit on a lot of good points that I'm definitely in agreement with. He did. We just gotta call a spade a spade. He hit on a lot of talking points. I was like, yo, on my mama. I'm still not about to go and just subscribe to his channel and all that, but niggas need to really take heed to what it is that he's saying because there was a lot of truth in what he was saying. Once you peel back your own personal bias with Al Heyman, doses.